a millionaire maker, and you are listening to me. Some of you are listening to me for the first time because I keep adding markets. I'm a syndicated national radio show, and I make you a millionaire. And those of you who've been listening to me for the past 2 years, you've become millionaires, and I love your letters. I love all of the feedback. Keep it coming. Check me out at hillarykramer.com and look at that stock market. Everything is up double digits on the year. Russell 2000, S&P 500, the Dow, and NASDAQ's getting close to being up. I bet by next week, we're going to see up 10% on the year. However, we got to keep you safe because there's some jitters in this market and we got to be really careful. I have my top analyst in emerging sectors, everything from crypto to cannabis to cloud to artificial intelligence. Tal Ben-Ari. Tal, welcome.
How's it going, Hillary? Can I start off by asking you what do you think about the craziness that happened this week? I think a lot of people were watching. We were having what looked like the start of a good week. Middle of the week started strong, and then all of a sudden you saw this crazy day where we were positive for the first half, flipped to negative. Talk to me a little bit about what you think that caused that, and the rebound afterward.
Taxes. Let me tell you, the market did a complete turn and went negative, and big negative, because people do invest based upon what kind of taxes they're going to have to pay. And a lot of investors sell to avoid having to be taxed higher later, right? We don't like the insecurity of not knowing the future. So President Biden's White House came out with an announcement of a doubling on the capital gains tax for wealthy investors that would be 39.6%. So if you had held the stock for more than a year, you would end up paying 39, basically 40% on your gain. Now, if you've only held a stock for less than 1 year, as we all know, the tax that you pay is your income tax bracket. But those are going up also. And they're not just going to go up for those that make over $1 million a year. That is going to be slowly rolled out and done in a very delicate way, because President Biden really won't want to ruffle the feathers of the middle class that put him into the White House.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, if you're a cop, you make $100,000 a year, you're going to be in a pretty high bracket, and everything is going to be taxed, and all of your taxes are going to go up. And you better believe even your property taxes are going to rise. Property taxes are going to rise because of the cost of what it's been for education and the cost to make the improvements to the schools. Look, there's some subsidies that are coming, of course, from the federal government, but everything is going up. We have to be taxed. We can't keep getting stimulus payments and expect that money isn't coming from somewhere.
Right.
Printing presses are going. The U.S. Treasury is out there selling 30-year bonds and 10-year bonds and 15-year bonds. All that money has to be paid back. Rates are low, not just to keep the economy going strong, but because of the kind of interest our Treasury, U.S. Treasury doesn't want to have to pay.
So that's a good segue. Sorry. So what do you think then? We saw that the 10-year was moving in a direction that really made it more attractive, and you saw tech stocks taking a hit. Tell me, do you see that trend continuing?
Tech stocks are going to come back because the 10-year yield has dropped. The 10-year yield has dropped because the yield, meaning how much you get paid, has gone down to about 1.5%. It looked like it was going to spike up to 2% because there's so much buying of the 10-year Treasury bond. Why is there buying of the 10-year Treasury bond? This is important. It seems so boring, but it's not. Mortgage rates are, by the way, pegged to the 10-year. So that's why mortgage rates hit a 2-month low. The 30-year fix hit a 2-month low this week. As soon as the rate drops, the yield drops, The other part is the NASDAQ stocks, the tech stocks go
Right.
up. We
So
have
let me ask you then, since I know your viewers love to hear, or listeners, sorry, love to hear about what to pick, what to look out for. I'm just going to rattle off a couple of names. I want you to tell me what your opinion is. You think they're going to keep thriving? Because in the end of this week, they ended up having a great week. So you got Fuel Cell Energy. It's a hydrogen fuel cell company. They were kind of tanking. They're down about 50% from their highs. They had a 10%. They had a couple 10% days in a row. What do you think of them? It's
hydrogen.
FCEL.
Hydrogen, it's been around a long time. Look, I followed that one 20 years ago, and it may be finally coming into its own. And again, the reason FCEL is rising isn't so much that hydrogen's coming around the corner tomorrow, it's that the stock is relatively cheaper than it was when the 10-year bond yield was at 1.72%. So at
Right.
1.5%, it becomes a stock that, especially the computerized trading
Right.
systems, right?
The algorithms.
They say, oh, cheap, we're buying. They start buying. Everyone else jumps in,
So
especially everyone that's doing technicals trading.
do you think that that is like, I look at that company as, emerging technologies, maybe not 5 years down the road, 10 years, maybe 20 years, maybe, like if you want to get into something
Hydrogen.
right?
But
If
why
you want to get
don't you
something.
explain what fuel cell hydrogen does? I mean, I think that
Okay,
would be
so
helpful.
hydrogen fuel cell is just another form of storing and powering equipment, right? So the most common application you see is for power generation and power storage, but also you're now starting to see them dive into not this company in particular, but the technology is for, like, you can see cars like the Mariah by Toyota is actually a commercially sold car that you can lease from Toyota, and it runs on hydrogen, right? So it's a technology that is super, super green, right? Because the output is pretty much non-existent, no CO2 carbon whatsoever. And, it's the next evolution. Even Elon Musk has said so. It's the next evolution of green technology and for like electric vehicles. So let me ask you another one. We got another one that came. It's called Arrival. It's another EV company, pretty new on the scene, had a great week as well after that turnaround. I'll tell you a little bit about them. Brand new. Their claim to fame is basically that they're also kind of mostly a tech company that's doing software for autonomous vehicles. Do you like autonomous vehicles as a play?
I don't right now. I will once it becomes clear, once the fog lifts and we know who's really going to be the leader in it,
Sure.
once we really understand and start trusting it better. Look, last weekends, okay, so now we're on this weekend. So a week ago, when a Tesla, and it's still unknown the facts around it, but a Tesla that was being driven autonomously hit a tree, blew up. The firemen couldn't even get the fire out. The battery engine kept going,
6
like
hours it burned, right?
reigniting itself. So the bottom line here is we have to realize that it's not coming back. Like it's not going to be tomorrow's technology.
Right.
It reminds me of like a lot of the genome sequencing that 20
Right.
years ago seems like so hot, and now is really, like, meaning customized, let's say oncology care, that creating the technology so that one's own cells can be turned against cancer cells and fight a war, have your own body fight the war. That was 20 years ago. Where we are with hydrogen fuel cells. Now it's
Yeah,
really becoming a reality. I think we're still in the infancy of that one in
I
biotech,
agree.
but
Let me ask you about we've got a couple from in the past. We saw obviously my darling, I've been on the show a couple times before, microvision, lidar technology, of course, for autonomous vehicles, right?
okay, let's talk microvision, MVIS. MVIS, everyone we put into MVIS is now making money. We have been talking MVIS. We put everyone in approximately between $15 and $16, then again at $12 a share. And on Friday, it ended above $17 a share. Big announcement on Microvision coming out on April 28th or 29th?
29th, yeah.
On April 29th. So there's, sometimes you want to buy on the rumor, sell on the news, but you want to be an MVIS. From a technical standpoint, this thing is breaking up and breaking through. Stay with us. We have so many more stocks to talk about that are going to be making you big money, but buy MVIS. Get ready for it to rise next week. Hillary Kramer, Millionaire Maker.